Today we're reading one of my favorite stories by one of my favorite authors, Oliver Jeffers. When we read Lost and Found, it's the same author and illustrator. So today, this moose belongs to me. Wilfred owned a moose. He hadn't always owned a moose. The moose came to him a while ago, and he just knew, that it was meant to be his. He thought he would call him Marcel. He began following Marcel, explaining the rules of how to be a good pet. Much of the time, it seemed as though the moose wasn't listening, but Wilfred knew he was. Mostly because he followed rule number 4 very well, not making too much noise while Wilfred played his record collection. I like that Wilfred thinks that his rules will make his moose his personal butler. I don't think that's how pets work. Sometimes the moose wasn't a very good pet. He generally ignored Rule 7, going whichever way Wilfred wants to go. And the moose had a very good sense of direction, while Wilfred did not. And because the moose was particularly poor on Rule 7, subsection B, maintaining a certain proximity to home, Wilfred quickly learned to bring some string along on their outings so he could find his way back again. So, Wilfred's not good with directions, but Marcel the moose knows how to travel. Sometimes the moose was an excellent pet. He had no trouble with Rule 11, providing shelter from the rain. Or Rule 16, knocking down things that are out of reach for Wilfred. Good work. One day, as Wilfred discussed their plans for the coming year on a particularly long walk, he made a terrible discovery. I like their plans for the year. It looks like they're going to go over a waterfall in a barrel. Someone else thought she owned the moose. Rodrigo, you're back! Wilfred was dumbstruck. This moose was Marcel, not Rodrigo. The old lady was mistaken, and Wilfred thought it was only proper he corrected her. This moose belongs to me, he explained. And to prove it, he called Marcel. Heel. But the moose did not respond. He seemed more interested in the old lady. Oh, good Rodrigo. I think he's a little more interested in the apple than the people. Fine. Embarrassed and enraged, Wilfred rushed off for home. But in his haste and miles from anywhere, he tripped over his string and got tangled up. And there he lay. Wilfred was beginning to get a little bit worried. It was getting late and the monsters would be out soon. He had just ruled out the last of his options when along came the moose. I like kind of thinking his plan here. Seeing maybe a friendly bear, a penguin, a swordfish, they might come and help him out. But I'm glad his moose friend came. And performed Rule 73 brilliantly, rescuing your owner from perilous situations. I think he was after the apple, but I'm glad he helped his friend. All was forgotten and all was forgiven. And perhaps Wilfred admitted he'd never really owned the moose anyway. With that in mind, he and the moose reached a compromise. The moose would agree to all of Wilfred's rules whenever it suited him. Dominic, you're back! And you brought me an apple! Looks like he has friends all over the place. Thank you for reading that story with me. Bye, guys!